Good morning, Mom COEs. I hope you are having a beautiful morning so far. It is kind of a dreary day out here. I'm at my kids' school in the parking lot. Kind of a weird kind of sky this morning, but I hope that you are having a blessed morning regardless. And today I want to talk about tangles and knots. Now, what are tangles and knots? Well, every morning, or practically every morning, I brush my youngest daughter's hair, and she's getting better at brushing her own hair. Good morning, Laura. Thanks for coming on this morning. So my youngest daughter, Madeline, is getting much better at brushing her own hair. She's 9, but over the course of the past year, we've been really working on that you can't just brush the sides of your hair. You have to brush the back, and you have to brush underneath. Now, obviously, I've got short hair. I love short hair. I haven't always had short hair, but I know for my daughter, she loves long hair. Like, she wants long hair as long as Rapunzel and Tangled. That's probably not going to happen because I can't imagine brushing that hair. But what I've been working with her is to teach her how to brush the sides of the hair, the top of the hair, underneath the hair, and the back of the hair. And she kind of struggles a little bit reaching in the back. So I help her out. But as I was brushing her hair this morning, I noticed how smooth it was. It really didn't have a lot of knots in it. And I thought, this has been a lot of growth for her. She has been learning just the coordination of it. She's been learning not to rush and just kind of, do the surface of her hair. And I thought, wow, this is so much like what we moms do. Sometimes we just scratch the surface of things because that's all we have time for. We have those conversations with our spouse, we have conversations with our kids, and it's like, how was your day? What did you do? It's very surface level. But we don't often get down into the nitty-gritty. We don't get into the knots of things, and we don't have those deep conversations all the time. Just because, for sake of time, or because we're busy, or because we're multitasking. And last night, when we were at dinner, so my husband's on third shift, and he's also just doing some other things as well. And so he wasn't home for dinner. And I was talking with them at dinner, and we were talking about some deeper level topics. And we didn't just scratch the surface on things. And sometimes the conversations in our car, we're not scratching the surface on things. We're using that moment of 15, 20 minutes from school back home, or from home to go to school. And sometimes it's surface level. How was your day? Fine. What did you do? Nothing. Did you have fun? Yes. The conversation might go like that. But then, on some really beautiful moments, the conversation goes deeper, and the questions are deeper, and they're really thought-provoking, especially for a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old sitting in the back seat or sitting at the dinner table. And I just want to encourage you to go with that. If your kids are asking questions, dig a little deeper. Because I learned some things about my kids last night that they were concerned about, that they were worried about. And, it had to do with money. We had a conversation about money, about, not spending more than you bring in, and what that looks like for them and their world with allowance money. Or we don't really have allowance. We have commission in our house because if you do a task, then you get paid. If you don't do a task or a chore, you don't get paid. So you don't get an allowance just for not doing anything. You get commission. The more you do, the more you earn. And that's what we teach our kids. So we had a conversation about money, and then some of their friends have gone through divorce. Their parents, the friends of their friends or their parents of their friends have gone through divorce. And that's really hit home with my kids because about 3 of their friends' parents have gone through divorce in about the last year or 2. So it's kind of a hot topic for them, and they had a lot of fears that, maybe mommy and daddy, that might happen to them. And so we had some tough conversations about money, about divorce, about commitment, about love, relationships. And it was just a really, really good conversation. Several conversations, actually. And what was interesting about that, as I'm brushing my daughter's hair this morning, I was just thinking about that, how sometimes we have those surface conversations, and sometimes we have those really deep conversations. And I am so thankful that my kids trust me to have those conversations with, because they know I'm going to tell them the truth. They know that I'm not going to sugarcoat anything with them. I'm going to use real words. I'm going to use adult terms. I'm not going to baby them and just sugarcoat it, but at the same time, I'm going to be age appropriate. So if they ask me certain questions, I'm going to dig a little deeper and find out what the context is on that. Good morning, Sue. Thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. So anyway, as I'm brushing my daughter's hair, I'm thinking about how smooth her hair is. And I'm thinking about how the surface of her hair is just really silky, and it's smooth, and it's soft, and there's no tangles. And then I go underneath, and there's a couple tangles in there. So we have to work through those. And that's exactly how our conversations have gone, yesterday and in the past couple of weeks, is that we start out with these surface conversations, and then we dig a little bit deeper, and we realize some of the fears, some of the concerns, some of the excitements and the joys and the things they're super excited about. And I can appreciate those moments. We can have surface conversations, but we can dig deeper and also have those tough conversations that make them think. They're thought-provoking. They're trying to figure out their world, and I get to be a part of that and guiding them. And so, as I said before, I'm really thankful that my girls trust me to ask tough questions, because I'm going to be honest with them, and I'm going to tell them what's real versus sometimes, a tween's perspective on things, or an elementary age student's perspective on things. If they're consulting with their friends and that's their only source of information, it's not always exactly accurate, right? So we have to put that adult spin, that adult guidance onto things. And for me, a lot of that comes from my faith, and a lot of that comes from surrounding my kids with people who have the same value system, and then also challenging my kids to branch out to maybe families who don't have the same value system, and they can kind of look at that and compare and see what our value system is compared to another family's value system. And it may be wrong, it may be right. I'm not here to judge that. It's good for my kids to see different perspectives. So I encourage you to get through the tangles and get through the knots. Get beyond the surface, smooth, silky hair and brush underneath. Get through the muck of life a little bit with your kids so they can see that it's not all fairy tale, because that's not real. That's not realistic. Yet at the same time, keep it age appropriate. And when they're asking questions, dig a little bit deeper. Find out what they're really thinking, because sometimes the surface question is really just that. It's just the surface, and they're fishing for information, but they don't exactly know how to ask it. So you have to do the asking. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts about that? How did that make you feel? What did you think when you saw that? What did you think when you heard that? If it's TV, music, or something their friends said, how do you think you could have handled that if you were in that situation? So asking those questions, guiding your kids, getting past the smooth and silky and getting to the knots and the tangles. Enjoy your day, ladies. I love each and every one of you. I love coming on and talking with you. Please feel free to ask questions in the group. If you haven't noticed, I'm starting to change some things up a little bit, just to kind of keep more interest and learn more about you. I'm asking more questions, and I want you to ask me questions as well, because I'm happy to come on here and answer specific questions that you have concerns about or want information about. Thank you very much. Give a great day. You are Mom COE's Chief of Everything.